Before we get going here, I'd like to just remind all of our RPAG members and partners and guests that we will be hitting the road for our spring regional workshops coming up across the country in April. We're going to be in Orange County from April 11th and 12th, Boston, Massachusetts, April 20th and 21st, Nashville, Tennessee, April 25th and 26th, and Austin, Texas, April 28th and 29th. Fantastic events where you can get to roll up your sleeves and network with your advisor peers and industry leaders, and really dive in and give you some solutions to help you service your clients and close new business. Great events. Contact support at rpag.com if you want to learn more, or contact any one of your customer service reps at RPAG to get registered. If you're a guest and you're looking for more information, don't hesitate to reach out to me, Jesse Taylor, directly through our RPAG website or through our support channel. If you are not able to make those events and you're heading out to Napa in early April, we're also going to be out there as well. Please come by our booth and check out RPAG, say hi to the team, and see ways that we might be able to help you. Today's webinar, we're going to be talking about financial wellness, and our tag that we've been using for a little bit, because it's kind of true, is financial wellness is broken. And here at RPAG, we've been on a 5 to 7 year mission to try to find the right tools, services, resources, and technology to help fix financial wellness. And, while we think we have a great solution for it, it's a never-ending quest for us to make sure that we're driving results and creating successful retirement outcomes for plan participants, as well as plan sponsors, and ultimately you all as advisors. Today, we're going to be sharing a little bit about that story and some of our resources that we have. As always on our webinars, please utilize the chat or Q&A feature if you have questions. We'll get to it during the webinar or the call today, whether through the text or even live at the end of the call. If you think of anything after the fact, support at rpag.com is a great way to go about it. My name is Jesse Taylor. I'm the Vice President of New Business Development at RPAG, and thank you for joining us today. Let's go to the next slide. A little bit about us at RPAG. While RPAG is a full service retirement practice management platform, you might think of us as the technology platform for your investment analysis, fee benchmarking, fiduciary governance, but we have a lot of other great products and brands that we've developed in-house here, including our FlexPath strategies, CIT suite and target date funds, plan fees, fee benchmarking analysis, advisor fee benchmarking analysis, and more great tools come down the pipeline with that product, as well as Wellsense, which is our financial wellness platform that we'll be talking about today. At RPAG, we think of ourselves as a service company first and a technology company second. We offer our members lots of great service and support, from onboarding, ongoing training, the unique solutions. Today, we're talking about Wellsense, but lots of great unique solutions to help you differentiate from your competitors and give you an unfair advantage. And then we offer advisor scale and efficiency. So top rated systems for our, as mentioned, our investments, benchmarking, fiduciary governance, sales and marketing, and so much more. Data integration with all the record keepers is also another highlight to save you time in your data management, and lots of workflows and scheduling, basically a full retirement plan CRM system. So service support, unique solutions, scale and efficiency, that's RPAG in a nutshell. Today, we're going to be focusing on financial wellness and talking about what does a good financial wellness program look like. And we've been spending many years, we've partnered with basically all of the top providers in the marketplace and have a great understanding of a lot of the solutions out there. And like some of you on the line today, you probably have you may have even been building your own process. And that's something that we have gone out and done and said, what's out there in the market hasn't really worked for ourselves at RPAG and for our members. And so we wanted to build something unique. Let's look at some of the challenges. This is something that we all know, right? Financial wellness program is supposed to address the near-term challenges that employees face with their financial well-being, right? We all know that 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. We know that most Americans can't cover the $1,000 emergency savings barrier without borrowing money. And especially these last 2 years, really into 2020, especially where folks were out of work, they weren't getting those the surplus checks early on. That a lot of folks could not cover that 1 or 2 or 3 months of their living expenses, and that's a real problem. That's something that us as financial professionals and retirement plan advisors and financial advisors should really take into heart and see what we can do to fix that. And we know majority of Americans are not getting financial advice. So even though the service providers and technology providers have been spending millions and millions of dollars on financial wellness, well-being, and literacy tools and technology and videos and resources, it has not made a massive dent in the issue at hand, which is that individuals need to speak with a financial professional like yourselves, and that's going to spur them out to get the best results for their financial wellness. It's just kind of some more facts. Something that we look at is talking about benefits and employee effectiveness of a communication strategy. So even though we're all working with our clients to ensure that they're having better benefits for their plan, if you're not having effective communication, it doesn't really make an impact. Let's go to the next slide. And where you're going to see this is if you have a rich benefits platform, or one of your clients does, but ineffective communications and engagement with the participants, the employees, when surveyed, only 26% of the time are they satisfied. So let's compare that to a not so rich benefits package, but an effective communication. You're selling it well. Employees, three quarters of employees are satisfied. So what you really want is that holy grail where you have rich benefits plus effective communication, and you're going to have nearly 85% employee satisfaction. You're always going to have some that aren't satisfied or not engaged with it, but you want the benefits plus the communication. So, communication alone can get you far, but benefits alone without the communication is not going to get you there. So when in our surveys, what we find is employees are looking for a solution. They want financial education from a financial professional. They want debt elimination. They want to understand how to live within their means. They're not always doing it, but they want better tools to help them. And they want advice on their investments and their future savings. And they want access to those financial advisors. A good financial wellness program, in our view, should create happier, stickier clients, employer clients for you. It should increase your client retention rates. It should be a new source of revenue and win more business. It could be a backdoor to other business lines. If you're a financial advisor or employee benefits broker, you have other insurance capabilities, that should be there. And it should be scalable across your practice. One thing we find is advisors who are leveraging six to seven different financial wellness programs, depending on which record keeper they're with or which provider, and that's just not ideal. The old, way, the more traditional way of financial wellness looks like this. Let's look through. So when we found working with service providers, the advisor engagement is very low, or basically none. The cost is also low to no cost, but you're there, which is nice for a lot of advisors. You're not adding a new cost. But you're not adding a revenue source, and you're not making a dent. The employee utilization, on average, across the industry with the record keepers, is 3 to 5%. I'm sure some are doing a lot better, but it's a challenge that every organization is trying to solve for. There's good third-party solutions that are out there, and the advisor engagement is low to mid, depending on the tool, but it can come with a high cost, maybe $1 to nearly $2 PEPM, so up to $20 to $25 per year per head per employee. So it's cost prohibitive, and the employee utilization increases, but not massively, not by a very high amount. You might be getting 15, maybe 20% utilization, but what happens? Let's go to the next slide. And what we find is whether service provider, whether it's a third party or through record keeper, it goes to the plan sponsor, it goes to the participants. There's a lot of self-guidance and do-it-yourself sort of methodology and a lot of literacy and videos, but where does it leave you as the advisor? You might be saying, checking the box, we're doing a financial wellness program, but you as an advisor are not bringing value there. It might be the third-party program, it might be the record keeper. So how can we monetize it for you as the advisor? And that's a challenge that we've been trying to solve, and we think we found it with our Wellsense tool. And so to talk a little bit more about Wellsense and talk through the program, how it works, what it does, how advisors are leveraging it, I'd like to bring on Luke Vandermillen Jr., Senior New Business Development Associate here at RPAG, and he's going to share a little bit about how Wellsense works.
Awesome. Thanks for setting the table there, Jesse. That was a great look at the financial wellness landscape in our industry right now. So I get the easy job today because I'm the one that gets to work with Wellsense and work with advisors on rolling out Wellsense, making sure it's a successful rollout, and also helping turning financial wellness from, like Jesse said, a check the box activity to a revenue driver for your advisory business. And so for those of you who aren't quite familiar with Wellsense, or maybe for those of you who haven't taken a look at the program in a while, this will be a great refresher and a quick overview of what we've built here at Wellsense. And we're pretty proud of what we've built here. So with Wellsense, we've built a true end-to-end financial wellness solution. And in a sense where you're reaching out to the participants, you're engaging with them via meetings, whether they're one-on-one or group meetings. You're providing them customized action plans based on the information that you've gathered through Wellsense. And then you can report back to the employer to quantify the success of your financial advice. And that's where things like what Jesse was saying, making your clients happier and stickier. Well, there's nothing better for a plan sponsor than to see actual quantifiable data to say, this advisor is improving my participants' retirement outcome. This advisor is improving our participants' financial wellness situation. And so really what we've built through Wellsense is built it around you as the advisor here. So with Wellsense, we focus on a couple of different areas of financial wellness. You know, with the nature of us being a retirement plan practice management platform, we wanted to take a little bit of a more broad look at, you know, how these participants are interacting with their finances. You know, it's really easy for us as retirement professionals to walk into a one-on-one meeting and tell someone that they should be contributing the max amount to their 401k. However, in reality, we all know that a lot of participants are struggling with cash flow issues, or their finances are all out of order, which makes contributing to their retirement plan, or as much as they can, virtually impossible. And so what we found is we need to take a holistic look at financial wellness here, not only looking through that narrow lens of retirement planning, but also looking at things like their personal finance behaviors, their insurance coverage, how comfortable they are with investment planning. Things like that give a great and kind of holistic view to you as the advisor on what does this participant need and what action steps can I recommend to make this participant's life a lot better. And so when I mentioned end-to-end financial wellness solution, I'm kind of a visual person here. So I really like this illustration that's on the slide here that gives kind of a look at kind of what we're talking about with end-to-end. You see right at 12 o'clock here, we start at reaching out to the employees, letting them know that, hey, you have a great benefit available to you called Wellsense. If you'd like to meet with a financial advisor, all you need to do is take a quick 5-minute financial wellness assessment, and then they're able to schedule a quick meeting with the advisor to go over the assessment and discuss action steps. And then you as the advisor can suggest action steps or kind of give the participant a place to go from there. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you can quantify all of that data on aggregate and present a deliverable report to your plan sponsor, again, to quantify the success of your financial wellness program. So what Jesse was saying earlier, and I think this really resonates with me as well, is that this Wellsense is built around the advisor. It's built as a value add to your service model. So instead of you contracting a third party or something like that to come in and do the financial wellness for you, you're at the center of all this. You're driving all of this. And so all of the engagement goes your way. And therefore, again, your clients are happier and stickier. So I'll talk a little bit about what it looks like when an advisor is using Wellsense. It's, you know, I work with tons of different advisors who have used the program and get a lot of frequently asked questions. So I thought it'd be good to go over a few of those today to make sure that everyone's aware of how robust this platform is. So the very first piece here is we here at RPAG and WellSense are going to provide you with all of the onboarding materials that you're going to need to make sure that rolling out WellSense with your clients is going to be as successful as possible. And so we have things like sales decks, checklists, implementation timelines, video content, different email campaigns. All of that is available to you as the advisor. And the nice thing too is that just like other RPAG content that you find in our resource center, it's all white labeled. And so you can easily customize this to drive more engagement with your participants. We've seen, if you see over here on the right-hand side, we've seen a lot of advisors with a lot of success by driving participant engagement to WellSense by doing a giveaway. Say, hey, if you take this assessment here, you can be entered in a raffle to win a Yeti cooler or some AirPods or something like that. And on top of all of these actual hard copy and digital materials that we provide, we also have a dedicated WellSense team here that's worked with all of our advisors that have rolled out WellSense, and they can help you with best practices and give you tips and tricks on how to make sure, again, that the WellSense rollout is as successful as possible. So talking a little bit about engaging employees with WellSense or financial wellness in general. A couple of the best practices that we've seen, just a couple things that we've gathered from some of our most successful advisors that are using WellSense. We see things like distribution of hard copy materials, posting on internal intranet. Again, I mentioned the prize giveaways, or really any sort of weekly engagement that you can do to make sure that all of the participants of a retirement plan and all the employees know that this is available to them. So it's really turnkey marketing content in terms of it's all packaged and ready to go for you. You just need to send it out and put your logo on it. That's about it. And so with WellSense, again, I mentioned, the promotion engagement piece is very, very easy because all of the material is created for you. And so with WellSense, on average, we're seeing north of 15 to 20% participant engagement with going through and taking the assessment and scheduling a one-on-one meeting. And so we think that's attributed to the fact that not only the WellSense interface from a participant vantage point is so easy to use and easy to go through, but also the materials and the promotion of the WellSense program are customizable and can fit the needs of each of your different plan sponsors individually. This is just a quick look at some of the different hard copy materials that we have. Just wanted to give you folks a look at how these all look. These are professionally put together by our internal marketing team here. Again, it's all white labeled, so you can put your own logo on it. And again, make sure that this can be distributed in any format that fits the employees of your particular plan the best. Whether it's, again, posting something in their break room, sending out an email, or just delivering hard copy materials. It can all be done through WellSense. And again, we also have seen some incentive promotion campaigns where folks will go ahead and take the assessment so they can get entered into a drawing or things like that. It's been really fantastic working with RPAG members who have rolled out WellSense to see how innovative you advisors can be in terms of driving this engagement. And that's why I think we can really attribute the success of the WellSense program in terms of participant engagement to you as the advisor, because you advisors know your client, you know your participants. And so WellSense is designed so you as the advisor can work hand in hand with the HR team at your client and make sure that the rollout is as successful and touches as many participants as possible. And then getting into the fun stuff here, the technology, which is my favorite part and something that I think really sets WellSense apart from other financial wellness platforms that you see out there in the marketplace, is the participant experience through the WellSense technology. And so for those of you who aren't quite familiar with WellSense, the participants can access the WellSense assessment and their dashboard via a web-based website that you see here on the left-hand side, or they can download a free app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Both experiences are great and they work just fine. And the participant is able to get the same amount of content from either the mobile version or the desktop version as well. And then the idea behind the Wellsense assessment is that the participant goes through and answers 20 some odd questions that are basically about their current financial well-being. And so I mentioned some of those categories a little bit earlier: personal finance, investment planning, retirement readiness, things like that. And one of the things that I really like about the Wellsense assessment is that it's an easy assessment to go through because we're not asking for PII or any sort of complex account integration. And most of our case studies and what we've seen through our research over the last several years is that when participants have to leave the platform that they're on, so in this case, Wellsense, to go find information, there's a very low chance that they're going to come back. And so throughout the assessment, the participant is asked questions like, how much non-mortgage debt do you have? Instead of asking the participant to put in a number there, the participant will just select from a multiple choice list, which is my favorite kind of test, and say, hey, I have a lot of debt and it's getting worse. I have a little bit of debt, it's getting better, vice versa. And so it's a great way for you as the advisor to see kind of where is this participant and get all of the necessary information before a meeting would even start. And so this is why I think Wellsense is the best platform to drive those efficient participant interactions so that you get all the information that you need and then can give them those customized action plans as follow-up items. And then once a participant has completed their assessment, let me backpedal real quick. The participant receives an assessment score based on the responses to their assessment. And then they're prompted to schedule a meeting with you as the advisor to figure out, hey, how can I make this score better? And so the scheduling function with Wellsense is very intuitive, very clean. We've added some really exciting enhancements in the last few weeks to it, where you can add a picture of yourself as the advisor, a quick bio. You can make multiple advisors available. So, it's a great way to, get your face in front of those participants and, make them aware that you're their advisor, you're a resource for them, and you're there to help. And so it's a really easy way for participants to go ahead and, say, hey, I'd like to meet with Luke here at, 5 p.m. on Thursday, and then just click a quick button and then the meeting gets booked for them. And again, those meetings can be in person or virtual as well. So we link up with a few different virtual meeting platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So that when a participant schedules a meeting through here and they schedule a meeting with you at 6 p.m., it's going to create a Zoom link automatically, or a Microsoft Teams link, and send it to that participant. So you don't have to go through the process of doing that. And then a couple other things that automatically happen for you in terms of what the Wellsense systems provides. The Wellsense system is going to send a meeting confirmation email along with a calendar invite that allows the participant to put the meeting on their calendar, and as well has all necessary virtual meeting information as well. It also gives them a quick summary of, hey, here's what to maybe prepare for the meeting. And you can also customize some of that language as well to say, hey, prepare your 401k login or something like that, just to make sure your participants and yourself are as prepared as possible before that meeting's even going to start. And then again, touching on some of the financial planning topics here that are included with Wellsense. I mentioned, some of the advisor-driven activities where, you're providing advice and meeting one-on-one with the participant. But there's also a pretty vast article library baked into the Wellsense dashboard that allows participants to do some kind of self-driven learning. And just a couple of the topics here that are covered within that article library are shown on the screen here. And you can go through and pick and choose what to send. And we also make some other presentation content available as well. And then if you joined us last week for our Wellsense webinar to go over some of our recent enhancements, first of all, I apologize that you have to listen to me talk this much. Second of all, you probably know that we just unveiled a really exciting enhancement to Wellsense called our Wellsense Dashboard. And so if y'all are familiar with RPAG, we have a section within RPAG called Advisor IQ, where advisors can manage their retirement book of business from one screen and kind of get a macro level view of all the statistics related to their book of business. And so what we decided to do was build a very similar dashboard, but related to Wellsense, so that advisors can manage their Wellsense rollout across their whole book of business. They can see things like how many participants are registered, how many meetings have been conducted. And there's dozens of ways to slice and dice this data as well. You see there on the illustration in the top right of the screen, there's some different graphs and charts that appear. Those can actually dynamically change. So if you wanted to see things like, hey, how many meetings has this particular advisor done? How many meetings have been canceled for this advisor, et cetera? What's the average score for the participants across a particular plan? There's dozens of different ways to slice and dice that data. So what we really wanted to provide was an efficient and easy way for you as an advisor to manage this so that you're not going from client to client. Inputting these, you're just managing it all from one screen here. And then the last piece here, which I think is the biggest differentiator for Wellsense, is the employer level reporting that's available through the Wellsense program. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier when I was talking about advisors that are using Wellsense and kind of how we picture this as an end-to-end financial wellness solution. Just like you all as retirement advisors create and present deliverables to your clients, whether that be fee analysis, investment review, plan design reporting, you name it. We here at RPAG thought that, hey, financial wellness should be the same. It should be a deliverable from the advisor so that the employer looks at this as a value add from you. So they're not looking at this as a third party, another service provider, like Jesse said, comes in and does all the financial wellness for you. This is a value add to what you do and what you provide as the retirement advisor on this particular plan. And so with our employer level reporting, just like you can create other reports in RPAG, you can also create a deliverable financial wellness report where you can aggregate all of the participant assessments on an employer level and show different trends and insights to the plan sponsor, not only to quantify the success of your financial wellness rollout, but also to clue that employer in on, hey, here's what your participants need. Here's what they're asking for. So a couple of the widgets that you see here on the right-hand side, things like aggregating the score amongst all the participants that took the assessment. How many meetings did we conduct? You see on the bottom there, you can aggregate, hey, out of all the participants that I met with, here's the most common action items that I assigned to them. So if you have a lot of participants who maybe aren't allocating correctly, it might be time to do a group meeting and talk about the beauty of target date funds or something like that. And this reporting, just like other reporting in RPAG, is customizable. It's easy to use. You can create templates and other things like that as well. You also, a couple other insights that you can provide to the plan sponsor, things like in the assessment, there's a place where each participant can select what their top 3 financial priorities are based on a list that they're given. And so this is a great way for you as the advisor to drill down here and say, hey, most of your participants, are, struggling with paying off debt. In one case, I know an advisor brought this insight to a plan sponsor, and through some conversation, what the advisor learned was that most of the participants who were struggling with debt were primarily struggling with student loan debt. And so that opened up a conversation with the plan sponsor and the advisor to say, we need to build in something to our plan to give a benefit to our employees to help them pay off this debt. So that's just an example of some of the insights that can be gained here. Again, it's all built around you as the advisor. And so your expertise is the one that drives this, and it allows you to get all of the information that you'll need to give not only individual action steps, but action steps on how to improve the employee benefits. We've seen such a huge uptick in the last year or so with employees leaving their company, the great resignation as it's termed. And so employers are looking to retain their top talent. They want to keep their rock star employees. And so employee benefits has never been more important than it is right now. And so this is a way for you as the advisor to say, hey, I've noticed some holes in your employee benefits. Let's go ahead and fix them. So you're showing them a problem that maybe they didn't know that they had, and you're coming with a solution as well. So more value that's being added from you as the advisor. And then just a couple other insights. You can get as granular as showing, hey, here's the amount of folks that spend less than they make. Here's the amount of folks that currently have emergency savings. And what I really like is that you can actually show the change in these metrics over time to say, hey, when we met with your employees originally, only 25% of them had an emergency savings. We came back a year later after meeting with your participants. Now almost 70% of them have one. So it's a great way for you as the advisor to view, again, quantify the success of this rollout. And then lastly here, before I turn it back over to Jesse, a quick case study, because we all like looking at actual results. And so one of the advisors that has rolled out Wellsense did an initial rollout early in 2020 in the height of the pandemic, where people were really scrambling to figure out, okay, hey, are we ever going to get back to work? Are we ever going to be able to meet with all of our employees in one place? This advisor here really took this by the reins and said, hey, I'm going to provide virtual financial advice to your employees, and I'm going to use Wellsense as kind of the chassis to do so. So the advisor went in 2020, surveyed most of the employees, and got some statistics on, hey, here's what we need. Again, this advisor noticed some holes within plan design and things like that. And then after meeting with the participants just recently here in 2022, the advisor went back to this employer and shared with us that the score had dramatically increased. And so, a couple things that I really like about this data is, you look here, you can look at the scores by section here in each category. And you can look at, the retirement readiness score went from a 20 to a 60. So it essentially tripled. And as a retirement advisor, I think that would be a great bragging point to talk about how good of a job that I'm doing. And so again, quantifiable data that shows how successful and how much you're driving positive participant outcomes to your employees. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Jesse here to talk a little bit, not only about how to utilize Wellsense, but also how to monetize it and turn it into a revenue driving activity.
Thank you, Luke. So you've been on this journey today with us. You're learning more about how Wellsense works. I think that's great. Obviously we see the technology, we see the engagement, we see the app utilization, how you work on it on the back end. As a reminder, it's all in one place. That's an advantage to Wellsense. There's a lot of other great tools, but for everyone who's looking to be more streamlined and efficient. But when it comes down to it, it's always what's the proof? The proof is in the pudding. So how do you monetize? Why should someone adopt this program instead of maybe going with the easier route or the less efficient or an oftentimes free route of leveraging other resources? So let's talk about the ROI of monetizing wellness. So if you have wellness return on investment, I also look at ROE, return on your energy. So kind of this is a variation of the slide I showed earlier. If you're working with a service provider, right, the engagement that you have is none. Employee utilization is low. The cost is probably no cost or very low cost to your customers, but you get no return on the investment. You can't sell it, upcharge it, or put yourself in there in any way to enhance your services to the plan or to the participant. Third-party tools, there's some low to mid-level engagement with you where you may be able to monetize that. Employee utilization is subpar. There's a high cost. So your tech ROI could be anywhere from, let's say, 50 to 60 or 70%. You can get some good revenue there, but a lot of the revenue is going to be flowing to that third party. What we did with Wellsense is we wanted to change the whole model of it and make it more like RPAG in general and have it more of a subscription base and not charge per plan and not charge a per head fee. And so the majority of the ROI, the majority of the revenue and the value is going to you as the advisor. We're providing you with the chassis and the back-end structure, but it's you who's front and center with your clients and with the participants. So it's a 97 and 99% wellness ROI. So we're going to get into that. Let's take a look at the next slide. Is how can we increase revenue per plan 30 to 60%? So let's look at a formula of how we get there and what we're seeing advisors across the RPAG network who are using Wellsense and what they're able to do. So let's look at an advisor, 30 plans, 100 employee average. So not very big plans, what they're able to do. A lot of RPAG members who are using Wellsense are getting a 25% client adoption rate. So about 8 of their clients for this particular case study of 30 client book of business. 40% they're getting a pretty decent engagement rate to sign up for the app and go through. 40% employee sign up rate. They have good marketing program, and they're leveraging all the different resources and study groups and training and onboarding that we offer them. 25% of the participants across the board are signing up for one-on-one meetings. So let's say who sign up for the app, it's 10% across the board. This is for this case study. A little low for our what we would normally see. So I wanted to be conservative with this case study. A lot of our advisors are seeing 25% across the board, right? This is 10% of total 20 and 25% of those who sign up for the app. But this advisor is getting 10 to 20% conversion for additional services. So here's where we're at. 8 clients on Wellsense. They're charging an average of $5,000 per client to deliver this service. That revenue is coming to them, to the advisor. The advisor's charging that, not Wellsense. So $60,000 in new plan-based revenue. New one-on-one meetings, 80 new meetings across the board, across those 8 new clients using the app and doing virtual meetings or even on-site or group meetings. They're getting 12 additional services. So that could be insurance, financial planning, any other additional service they might offer. And new services revenue is $54,000. So in total, this advisor last year added $114,000 of top line revenue to his firm without adding new clients. This was just with existing clients rolling out Wellsense for the first time. That's about $14,000 per client average. We're seeing some advisors add $250,000 to $500,000 in new revenue. Those are advisors with larger books. So, let's say this particular advisor rolled out Wellsense across the board, had the same metrics of sign up and same engagement rates across all 30 clients. We're talking about $500,000 in new revenue. So this advisor, actually with 30 plans, would be paying $3,750 additional fee on the platform to utilize the service. That's flat across the board. $3,700 to utilize Wellsense for this advisor. The average fee we see for advisors across our network paying what their fees are is $5,000 a year. So that $5,000 additional cost of premium service through RPAG, they're adding hundreds of thousands of dollars of new revenue. That's where we're seeing that 97 and 95% work. Well, but to see these results, it's all about onboarding. It's all about marketing, following the process that we set forward. It takes time. It takes work. We're doing some things to help with that. For example, Luke shared a lot of those email templates and flyers and posters. We're working right now. We saw the new dashboard that rolled out. We're working on automated email campaigns through the tool, so you don't necessarily have to do it all outside. If you don't have marketing experts, our system's going to help you do that. So that will increase utilization there. Let's talk about selling it to Wellsense. So this is an advisor with 30 clients. He was able to sell to 8 of his clients. Let's look at an example here of one plan with $10 million with 300 employees. How they were able to add a new revenue driving service, but also lower the total fees for their plan. They conducted a live bid RFP. They utilized the RPAG provider analysis report. They rebid with the current record keeper. So they weren't trying to move it, but they went out to the market to get competitive bids, help them negotiate lower record keeping fees. So it went down 4 basis points from 29 to 25. And then what they did is they remapped some of the funds that they had into lower share classes of funds. They utilized the RPAG CIT suite here, and they were able to go from a net investment expense, weighted investment expense, from 45 down to 37. We've seen some even more drastic results of that, renegotiating to lower share classes. And then they were able to keep their normal advisor comp, but add a new service and a $10,000 a year service of Wellsense, or 10 basis points. So the total all-in cost is net plan savings of 2 basis points for this plan. So they increased services, they lowered overall fees, they created a stickier client, they create more engagement with the participants. So, this is one example of how to sell that. I mentioned a couple different resources. So look on the next slide. They use the RPAG CIT suite, really good to look at. Talk to your customer service rep or custom solutions rep at RPAG for that. Leverage the Prism fee benchmarking analysis to look at the overall fees and services. You can even, if you use the Prism 365 advisor fee benchmarking tool on plan fees, you could there's a whole slide on employee engagement and financial wellness, so you can help deliver that and show how your services compare. And then the fee benchmarking tool, or the live bid RFP provider analysis, shows that total cost summary side by side. So there's some tools within RPAG that can help you sell wellness through your normal fiduciary process of investment analysis, fee benchmarking, and vendor selection. Go next slide. Here's some of our recommended client pricing that you can charge your clients on. So what we're saying, we would recommend, now we recommend this fee. You don't have to necessarily go through this grid. You get to charge what you want. We're seeing some advisors eat the cost of the program because they know that they want to just book more meetings and that's where their value is going to be. Or maybe they're already delivering quarterly one-on-one education days. It's already built into the pricing. And so they're using Wellsense to help supplement or make their process more profitable or efficient and get them more data. So we're seeing, we would recommend a $5,000 minimum base fee to deliver the Wellsense service. That's the app, the reporting, all the information. And then, on average, we're seeing per day. Let's say you're already offering 1 or 2 days, you want to do more. We would say $1,500 per day. That can be paid by the plan, the employer, forfeitures. How we consider a day of education is 8 hours. It can be 16 half-hour one-on-one meetings, or 8 or less full meetings, group seminars plus one-on-one consultations, work and travel days as well. Understand that, how to bill that. And the recommended design that we would say is have enough one-on-one meetings to account for 20 to 25% of the employee population. So if it's a larger plan, you might have to do 4 or 8 or 10 days, but understand that there comes a cost of that for yourself if you're the lead advisor, or your team if you have employee education specialists. Let's go to the next slide. So I'll leave you with a couple of items here before we end the call. So how do you want to differentiate your wellness process? Or you want to make it central to your sales process and your value proposition that you bring to your clients and to your prospects. Financial wellness is a hot button, but most advisors, you are talking about investment analysis. Most advisors talk about fee benchmarking, fiduciary governance. Most advisors talk about engaging with employees, but that's where you can really differentiate now, is what value does a current advisor on a plan or a prospective plan that you're working with, what value are they actually bringing? What results do they bring? How do they quantify that to the plan sponsor? That's where you can come in and show them how Wellsense can help. You want to prepare abbreviated deck and add to your sales deck. We have great plan sponsor pitch decks and slides that you can add to your own pitch decks and overview of services. So reach out to the team, check out the RPAG Resource Center for that. You want to recognize what the challenges that you have with HR, right? They want to help their companies. They generally truly care about the participants. They're not always looking at bottom line, but you can create a coach out of them, and you can create an advocate for you and for the services that you're presenting to them. And most of the time they're understaffed and overworked. So that's where you can come in and help them and say, we'll take care of this employee engagement for you. And we have all these onboarding slides and resources that Luke had showed that are going to help you with that. Here's some questions that you can ask, whether you're using Wellsense or you're using another program or you've built your own even. Ask the questions of the prospects or even the clients that you have. Do you feel that your employees are bringing their financial stress with them to work? That's very important. We all know about the cost of financial stress, and how employees are missing work. Hey, we're in a virtual environment now. A lot of folks still working from home. They might be disengaged, and they might have a reduction in their capabilities and their output because of financial stress. We don't know what's happened over these past couple of years that is causing them. And this is where Wellsense and having this one-on-one consultation with you all, financial professionals, can help. To ask your clients if they have a process to identify and address those key areas of financial stress. Do they know how many individuals have student loans or are paying for their family or children's college? Do you understand how many people are in massive credit card debt? Understand the factors that weigh into it. Do they know what the main financial stressors are for the different generations across their employee workforce? And ask them if they've considered the impact it can have on the productivity, retention, or their bottom line. That's very important. If you red flag a few of these questions, you can really quantify the challenge and the lack of employee engagement, financial wellness is having on this particular company. And that's where you can come in and offer solutions that are going to help that. So be prepared to differentiate your wellness program from others. Saying that, yeah, we work with XYZ record keeper and they have a wellness program doesn't differentiate you. And in today's day and age, we're highly homogenized within our industry. You need to find every single tool and every single weapon that's going to help you differentiate yourself. So lastly, review your wellness process. See what is working, see what's not. Is it working for you? Is it working for your clients? Is it working for the participants? Is it having a positive impact on the outcomes that you're looking for in terms of participation, reduction in stress, and increased savings? And then for you, is it profitable? Are you able to monetize it? Are you having a good ROI? And is the profit and the value flowing to you as the advisor? So ask yourself those questions, take a look. If it's working for you, fantastic. We're very happy, and please reach out to us and share some ideas of what's working for you. If it's not working, don't hesitate to reach out to either myself or to Luke or anyone at RPAG. We're happy to talk you through and show you how the system can possibly help you grow your business, create stickier clients, and create better outcomes. So thank you for the time today. Thank you for coming to our webinars. We hope to see you out on the road.